Now, KCAU 9 News starts with your forecast first.
Good Thursday afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Marcus Beasley here, and I sound like a broken record, but once again, temperatures today warming up into the 70s with plenty of sunshine, already beginning to cool off a bit now in the upper 60s. At 67 in Sioux City, 68 in Lamar's, Cherokee at 65, 64 currently in Orange City, Yankton still in the 70s at 73, as well as Wayne at 71. So another warm day out there and another very nice evening. Satellite radar showing that we're again seeing those clear skies. It looks like a nice Friday to wrap up the work week, and this weekend's looking pretty nice, but breezy. Details on that and what next week's looking like coming up in the 9 on 9 forecast. KCAU 9 News at 5 starts right now.
We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Sophie Erber. It's now 2 days after the election and still no official winner in the presidential race. A handful of key battleground states are still up for grabs, and they will decide this election. ABC's Alex Perche has the latest from the White House in our top story at 5.
Tonight, the election spotlight is just on a handful of states that can pave a path to victory for either presidential candidate. ABC News projecting former Vice President Joe Biden likely to win Michigan and Wisconsin. And he's now just 17 electoral votes shy of the 270 needed to win the presidency. Heading into this afternoon, Pennsylvania had about 560,000 mail-in ballots left to count. Biden needing roughly 61% of those to win the state.
Democracy is sometimes messy. It sometimes requires a little patience as well.
His campaign confident, as mail-in voters have favored Democrats, and much of the outstanding vote comes from heavily Democratic Philadelphia, though the city's facing increased scrutiny over vote counts. And a Pennsylvania judge granted the Trump campaign's request to more closely observe poll workers as they process remaining mail-in ballots. If President Trump loses here, the race is over.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
The president's aides telling ABC News there's growing concern in Georgia as well. The margin there now razor thin, less than 15,000 votes in favor of Trump.
Fast is great, and we appreciate fast. We more appreciate accuracy.
New numbers out of Nevada show another close race, Biden slightly increasing his lead, though only 80% of the expected vote is in. Eyes also on Arizona, where Mr. Trump has been closing the gap as each new tally is released. Trump supporters demanding the vote counting continue there.
I don't understand what these protesters are interested in. Obviously, we're going to keep counting ballots. That's what we are required to do by law.
Sources close to President Trump tell ABC News that his path is narrow and looking increasingly tough. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is urging his supporters to remain patient. And while his campaign has not declared victory, it has moved on to the next phase, setting up a Biden-Harris transition website. Alex Perche, ABC News, the White House.
Meanwhile, in Iowa, Secretary of State Paul Pate says that he's applauding the state's quick returns on election night. Iowa was able to deliver those results within hours of the polls closing, while other states still have not returned the final tallies. Pate says the secret to this year's success was to start early on the record number of absentee ballots that came in this year. County auditors were allowed to start processing those ballots on Monday of this week, while states like Pennsylvania were not allowed to start processing ballots until the polls closed. And now that the election has come and gone, you might be thinking about removing any political signs you have in your yard. You are no longer required by state law to take signs out of your yard following an election, but there are a few things you should know if you plan on recycling them. Political signs are made out of corrugated plastic and metal. Waste authorities tonight ask that you separate the metal frame from the sign and then recycle each piece separately to avoid damaging their recycling equipment. Earlier this week, South Dakota voters passed 2 historic marijuana ballot measures that legalize the drug statewide. Now it's up to the South Dakota legislature to implement the will of the people. Sarah McDonald sat down with congressional leaders for a closer look at this process.
Amendment A will legalize, regulate, and tax marijuana. The amendment legalizes the possession, use, transportation, and distribution of marijuana by anyone who is 21 years and older. State Representative and Speaker of the House Stephen Haugard says there could be some challenges when the issues are discussed in the legislature.
We really need to figure out if that constitutional amendment is sufficient in itself to clarify some of those issues. I suspect we're probably going to have some challenges to that because it is so long. And, you know, even in our legislature, when we pass a bill that's a paragraph, we spend a lot of time arguing about the wording, and then we might come back in following years and address that. This, though, is a constitutional amendment, so it's a little more difficult to do that.
Senate Minority Leader Troy Heinert says it's important to make sure it gets implemented properly.
We have a roadmap of other states of how they did it. And we can either choose to look at them and learn from them and see what works and make a plan that fits South Dakota, or we can just negate the will of the people and say, no, we're not going to do this. I would think that's a mistake.
And that will take time and effort.
There are also lots of statutes on the books that are going to need changed. The possession, ingestion as a felony, that A didn't really deal with, but we know in order to implement A, we have to change these other statutes.
It's going to be, you know, a challenge to try to figure out how do you weave this together with current law, both state and federal. So there are a lot of things that it addresses.
Time now to turn our attention to this beautiful weather. Meteorologist Marcus Beasley standing by. Marcus, you said you sound like a broken record, but I know you and I don't mind. Mid-70s for some of us today, others still in the 60s, very pleasant.
Yeah, very nice day. Once again, all week long, we've had very nice weather. Sunshine every single day. Temperatures every day warming up into the 70s, and no difference today. Getting to 76 degrees here in Sioux City for your high temperature. Recording 77 in Wayne and Norfolk, 75 in Yankton today, 73 in Orange City, as well as Lamar's and Storm Lake. A pair of 75s for your highs there in Denison and Carroll. So a very nice day no matter where you are at in Siouxland. Overnight tonight, again, we'll see comfortable temperatures, especially for this time of year, as they will drop into the low to mid 40s. But again, we'll see those clear skies, very quiet weather again tonight. Tomorrow, it looks like winds will increase a bit, but it's still going to be another nice day. This weekend, we're going to see even windier conditions. Details on all of that in the 9 on 9. Sophie?
All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. Taking a look now at the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Siouxland. Woodbury County health officials confirmed the 102nd virus-related death here. 110 new cases bring the countywide total past the 8,000 infection mark. Nearby Sioux County totaling more than 2,800 cases. In Nebraska, Dakota County has 21 new positive tests coming back today. The county totals more than 2,700 cases of the virus. And in South Dakota, Union County confirms 12 new cases today. The county totals more than 800 positive COVID-19 tests. Iowa's Governor Kim Reynolds holding a press conference today to address the record number of hospitalizations. The governor announcing that she planned on rolling out an ad campaign designed to spread more awareness about COVID-19 prevention measures. She is stressing that while hospitals are currently handling this increase in COVID-19 loads, the situation does need to improve.
While hospital capacity is stable for now, it isn't sustainable if positive cases continue to surge at this level. It's their hope that Iowans will also step up and help care for their local hospitals and their health care providers by doing their part to stop the spread of the virus.
And Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts also addressing the state's record number of hospitalizations. Ricketts saying he is taking a similar approach to the state's surging numbers by also launching a public service campaign.
A PSA to radio stations across the state. That is out there in English, and we'll have one in Spanish here in the next couple days. And we'll also be doing a paid media and digital campaign as well, emphasizing these 3 C's. Then we'll have other campaigns as well to remind people about the tools that we have to be able to slow the spread of the virus.
Meanwhile, for Nebraskan organizations who need some federal assistance, there are still funds available, but not for long. The Coronavirus Food Assistance Program is available for farmers and ranchers affected by this pandemic. There's also limited funding available through the CARES Act for organizations like nonprofits and also places of worship. One Siouxland organization says the grant has helped keep their doors open throughout this pandemic.
The grant award has been great for Heartland because it did allow us to hire new staff to keep up with the demand, or at least try to keep up with the demand, and provide the mental health and substance abuse services that are needed.
And coming up tonight at 6, KCAU-9 News reporter Lydia Vasquez explains the deadlines to apply and also what you need to know if you are in need of federal funding. $33,000. That's the balance of unfunded lunches in the Sioux City School District in the 2019-2020 school year. But there's a program tonight helping pay down that balance and also feed those students who are in need. It's called the 30/30 Project, and the Director of Operations of Sioux City Public Schools Foundation says food pantry served roughly 800 students last year. This year they've experienced a 15% increase in requests for the food pantry because of the pandemic.
It's important for people to understand that our students do well when they have all their basic needs met. And hunger is one of those things that if a child is well fed, they can focus on their studies and they can concentrate and just do better.
Nelson adds that $30 can pay for 10 days of lunch for one student.